Hi, I'm Tine from PlayPauseBe and I'm here today to talk to you about the expansion deck. Now, this is the box. Opening the box, the first thing that you will find is the manual that will tell you something about the cards in the expansion deck. Now, moving on to the deck. The deck is put together by intention cards that I'm going to come back to later, some copies of the most common asanas that you use for sequence building, so the ones that we usually come back to, and some bonus cards for sequence building, okay? Now, we're gonna talk about the intention cards. The intention cards are intended to help you deepen your self-practice, okay? So on one side, you'll find a beautiful illustration, and if you flip it around, you will find the word that inspired the illustration. So these you can pick to help set the intention for your practice. And you can use the illustration or you can use the words. We have 12 intentions, so it should be something for everyone. Now, on to the copies of the most common or most frequently used asanas. So this is studied for people that love to build longer sequences. I don't know about you, but I definitely, for instance, use downward facing dog more than once when I build a sequence. Also, for instance, knees to chest. So also typical counter poses that you want to include more than once during your practice, okay? So these are also super helpful. Another thing that we have thought about is, for instance, triangle pose, trikonasana. You want to do both sides, so maybe it's useful for you to have two cards and not just one, okay? So these are the copies. Now on to the sequence building cards. Now we have 3 different cards. One is 10 plus. This is meant to use if you want to hold the asana for a longer period of time. So 10 plus breaths, for instance. But it can also be used for reps, so repetitions. So if you have the core card, for instance, and you want to do 10 of each, then you can put this card there as well, okay? Then the other one is repeat. Now this I use every sequence that I have. So if you build a warrior sequence, for instance, and you want to repeat it on the other side, then you can put this one. So it can be for a whole series or it can be for just one asana. Okay, so repeat the asana or repeat the whole sequence. Then last but not least, the vinyasa card. This is also a must for me in every sequence that I build. So this can mean whatever you want it to mean, in the sense that vinyasa is your vinyasa. So it's usually often some form of sun salutation, but it can include handstand for some and it can include other things for other people. So this one I use also always for transition. If you don't know how to transition, you put in a vinyasa card and it's easy to transit. Also for heat building. If you are between asanas, seating asanas, for instance, and you throw in a vinyasa card to build some heat. So an absolute must, this one as well. Okay? That was all of the different parts of the expansion deck. I hope it was useful for you. And thank you for listening and have a beautiful day.